Thanks for tuning in to the What's Wrong with This Canning Recipe module. I am Megan Baumler, recording for Suzanne Dreesen, University of Minnesota Extension food safety educator. I've seen unsafe food preservation recipes on internet sites, in local newspapers, and in many cookbooks. Let's look at some unsafe canning recipes. I saw a recipe in my local newspaper for sun-decked dill pickles. You set the jar in the sun for 3 days and nights with the lid on loosely. Is this safe? Deck pickles are unsafe. Using the sun as a heat processing method is not an approved or safe method. The temperature varies widely. There is no final heat processing step in a canner to kill spoilage or disease-causing microorganisms. You will not find this recipe in a credible food preservation book or website. You will not win any awards with this dill pickle recipe. This recipe has many issues and problems. The water to vinegar ratio is weak. In most current pickle recipes, the ratio will be 1:1. Enough vinegar is needed to change the acidity level and keep microbes from growing, and it's what gives our pickle the sour, tart flavor that we love. I read a blog talking about a new way of canning. Fill clean jars with whatever you're canning, and then put them in the oven. Turn the oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. When the oven is preheated, turn the oven off. Let the jars sit in the oven for at least 1 hour. Take the jars out of the oven. They seal so easily. Baking filled jars of food in the oven instead of water bath or pressure canner processing is unsafe. This blog claims that a neighbor promotes it as a simple method of canning. Processing in an oven will not heat the contents in the coldest part of the jar in the same way as boiling water. Oven canning has not been recommended for 80+ years. My grandmother gave me her favorite canning cookbook. You just fill the canning jars with hot fruit, vegetables, or jam. Put the lid and screw band on. Turn the jars upside down overnight to seal. This is an old, outdated method of canning called the open kettle method. With this method, there is often spoilage because bacteria, yeasts, and molds were not killed by further heat processing in boiling water or pressure canner. While they may seal initially, they can become unsealed during storage, allowing the growth of microorganisms. This method leads to botulism risk and is not recommended. A website promotes a canning method the old-fashioned way with a boiling water canner, like our grandmothers did and before the days of pressure canners. The website provides processing times to can beets, beans, carrots, and other vegetables in boiling water canner. These times range from 110 to 210 minutes. Don't do it. Vegetables have a low acidity. Low acid foods must be pressure canned because botulism thrives in low acid environments. The high heat achieved during pressure canning will kill the spores that release the toxins responsible for botulism, a potentially deadly food-borne illness. Safety is the primary reason to not water bath processed vegetables, but what's the quality of green beans processed for 180 minutes? When preserving food at home, you must use research-tested recipes and information. Do not use food preservation books or recipes dated before 1994 because the processing times are outdated and unsafe. Consider using the Complete Guide to Home Canning by the USDA or So Easy to Preserve book from the University of Georgia. There are lots of other websites, blogs, and videos on the internet. Make sure they reference research-tested recipes, or otherwise don't use them. Credible websites include the National Center for Home Food Preservation, ballfreshpreserving.com, or university websites. If you have any questions about home food preservations, call our Extension answer line to talk directly to an Extension professional. You can also email them with your question. There are lots of unsafe food preservation recipes on internet sites, in local newspapers, and in many cookbooks. Make sure to use a credible research-tested recipes for a safe and taste-preserved product. Thank you for watching.